Hey ghouls and gals, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor. In today's video we are going to be talking about some of my most anticipated releases for September of 2025. Now this is such a huge month in publishing, especially when it comes to horror, so I'm actually dividing this video up into two separate parts. So this video is covering the release dates September 2nd, September 9th, and September 16th, and part 2 of the video will cover September 23rd and September 30th. That one should be coming out in about a week or so when you're watching this one. So let's just get into it. There are so many great books to talk about. Per usual, I'm going to have the book information up on the screen with me as I'm talking about them, and then also I will have all of the book details listed down below in the description bar. So let's get started. September 2nd is the first release date, and the first book we're going to talk about is A Blood as Bright as the Moon by Andrea Morstabilini. This is such an interesting cover, and that's what first caught my eye. This is about a vampire who is desperately torn between worlds and is hunted down by a secret society bent on his destruction. In this timeless and unsettling queer gothic horror, perfect for fans of T. Kingfisher and Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is about a young vampire named Ambrose who lives a life secreted away from the modern world with the rest of his clan, all of them under the spell of their charismatic leader who spins stories of salvation for their kind. Their charismatic plan is to build makeshift wings and fly to the moon, where a safe haven awaits all vampires. But Ambrose is not quite ready to abandon the earth. He is in contact with a human that believes he can be saved. As the rest of his kind prepare to flee their home, and they're being chased down also by a secret society who's a group with sinister plans for vampires, Ambrose is torn between loyalties. So this one sounds so interesting. It also sounds maybe a bit of sci-fi with the exploring, like traveling to the moon aspect, but I'm really intrigued. You know, if it's a vampire book, then I'm gonna check it out. So I'm very intrigued by this one. The cover is all sorts of creepy and gorgeous. I feel like horror covers have really been knocking it out of the park this year. This one sounds really intriguing. Next up we have Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McAuley. This one also comes out September 2nd. This one is a Midsummer Night's Scream in this blood-soaked thriller set at a remote healing retreat. Hannah has been running from her demons ever since she emerged from a harrowing wilderness trip without her fiance. No one knows exactly what happened the day Ben died, and Hannah would like to keep it that way, even if his ghost still haunts her with vivid waking nightmares that are ruining her life. So when her friend group gets an exclusive invitation to a restorative spiritual retreat in Joshua Tree, Hannah reluctantly agrees in search of a fresh start. Despite her skepticism, Hannah soon finds healing through all the yoga and sound baths and hot springs offered at this tech-free haven. But this peaceful journey of self-discovery quickly descends into a violent fight for self-preservation when a mysterious killer starts picking off retreat attendees in increasingly gruesome ways. I have heard really great advanced reviews of this one. People are picking it up and really liking it. I believe I've heard it's a little bit funny, a little bit campy, as the title suggests, and it sounds like it's gonna be a good old-fashioned slasher. And we have, of course, you know, they're at a retreat, they're at a tech-free retreat where you're supposed to be relaxing, and just the juxtaposition of the meditation with all of the murder and bloodshed that's going to be happening. This one sounds like a good time. The last book coming out September 2nd is Moonflow by Karella, and this is another absolutely stunning cover. This is an irreverent psychedelic trip into the heart of an eldritch wood and the horrors of sisterhood. This says that it's Annihilation meets Manhunt. I didn't really care for Manhunt. I really like Annihilation, but with the fact that it's comped to Annihilation, I don't know how much I want to get into the synopsis, because that's one where it's fun to really uncover what is going on in the book, and I feel like descriptions don't really do it justice. There are some books where you can read the plot synopsis or the blurb on the back and you don't really understand what it's about until you read the book. I feel like this could be a similar sort of scenario, especially if it is a psychedelic trip and an eldritch wood, those sound like it's going to be very strange. They call it the King's Breakfast. One bite and you can understand the full scope of the universe. Sarah is a trans woman who makes her living growing mushrooms. When a bad harvest leaves her in a desperate fix, the lure of this King's Breakfast mushroom has her journeying into vast uncharted woods. But as she descends deeper, she realizes she is not alone. So this is going to be like an acid trip, fever dreamy sort of eldritch, maybe cosmic-y horror. I'm intrigued by this one. Moving on to September 9th, we have The Burial Tide by Neil Sharpson, and I absolutely loved Knock Knock Open Wide by this author. I'm so excited to check out something else by him. This is drawing on the creatures and horrors of Irish folklore. The Burial Tide unearths our darkest truths, how far we'd go to win our freedom, and how quickly our desires can become monstrous. A woman who can't remember her death. An island with a terrible secret, a past that refuses to stay buried, but the sea remembers it all. On an eerily quiet island in Ishbannock, off the coast of Ireland, a woman with no memory crawls her way out of the grave and back to life, but not everyone welcomes the return of Mara Fitch. As Mara returns to her life on this upside-down island, her memories begin to leach their way back to the surface. The more she remembers, the more the village will do anything to stop her. So I'm so excited for this one. I have an advanced reader's copy, so that should be coming out in a vlog towards the beginning of September, and I just cannot wait to read something else by this author. Next up, coming out September 9th, another author that I absolutely love, that would be House of Idyll by Delilah S. Dawson. This is a darkly seductive tale of beautiful rock stars, sinister cults, and a magical oasis where dreams come true for a price. Angelina is a struggling singer-songwriter offered the chance of a lifetime to join the experimental luxury compound, that's a scary word in a horror, sponsored by the most famous band in the world, Black Idyll. With her every need accommodated, she finally has the time and space to perfect her music. Her muse, reclusive rock star Jesper Idyll, who lives up to her every high school daydream. But this paradise has a haunted underbelly heralded by screaming horses, mysterious figures in the night, and dreams too twisted to be real. When people start to disappear, Angelina begins to suspect that something malevolent lurks behind the cult that's grown behind the band. So I'm excited for this one. We got a compound, we got a cult. I really like those aspects. Culty horror really works for me. I love Delilah S. Dawson's horror, so I'm so excited to check this one out. The next book coming out the 9th is The Macabre by Kosoko Jackson, and this is the author's adult speculative debut. It's a standalone novel blending time travel, globe-hopping adventure, art history, and dark fantasy about magical paintings and the lengths people will go to collect them, destroy them, or be destroyed. A picture is worth 1,000 nightmares. Art has always been an escape for struggling painter Louise Dixon, but other than his mom, who has recently passed away, no one has ever praised his work. If he's being honest, there's really no one in his life, so he's very shocked when the British Museum shows an unusual interest in his art. This is his chance to show the world what he's capable of. However, he has no idea that he might also be saving the world at the same time. He has not been invited to participate in a curated show, but rather a test to see if the fugue-like exhilaration he experiences when painting is actually magic, a power that allows him to enter 9 very special paintings. Spread across the globe, these paintings have incredible, unimaginable powers, and not necessarily beneficial ones. In terms of power, these are the most valuable works of art in the world, and there are those out there who will do anything to possess one of them. This sounds so cool. So like a horror, fantasy, kind of questy sort of combo. I'm really intrigued. I've read YA horror by this author and enjoyed it, but was really excited when I saw that he's doing an adult debut. This is such an ambitious premise, and I'm happy to see that it is about 400 pages because I feel like with all of this world building and fantasy elements going on that we're going to need a lot of time to build these ideas up. So I am so excited to check this one out. Also coming out the 9th, we have Play Nice by Rachel Rachel Harrison. I'm so excited about this one because this is this author's take on a haunted house book. I absolutely love haunted house horror. A woman must confront the demons of her past when she attempts to fix up her childhood home in this devilishly clever take on the haunted house novel. Cleo Louise Barnes lives a picture-perfect life as a stylist and influencer, but beneath the glossy veneer, she harbors a not-so-glamorous secret. She grew up in a haunted house. Well, not exactly haunted, but possessed. After Cleo's parents' messy divorce, her mother moved Cleo and her sisters into a house occupied by a demon, or so their mother claimed. That's not what Cleo's sisters remember or what the courts determined when they stripped her of her custody after she supposedly went off the deep end, but Alex, the mother, is very insistent. She even wrote a book about all of the experiences in the house. After Alex's sudden death, the supposedly possessed house passes to Cleo and her sisters. Where her sisters see childhood trauma, Cleo sees an opportunity for house flipping content. Only as the home makeover process begins, Cleo discovers there might actually be some truth to her mother's claims. So I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I've really enjoyed most of Rachel Harrison's work, and I just feel like she's going to do such a good job with a haunted house book. Some of my favorite parts of her books, like previously, like The Return and Black Sheep, were the haunted houses, not haunted houses, but creepy houses and creepy scenery that she created within like the set dressing of those two books. So I'm really excited to read about this possessed or haunted house. Continuing on with the September 9th releases, we have You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White, and this is this author's adult horror debut. This is Alien meets Midsummer in this chilling debut adult novel about identity, survival, and transformation amid an alien invasion in rural West Virginia. Festering masses of worms and flies have taken root in dark corners across Appalachia. In exchange for unwavering loyalty and fresh corpses, these hives offer a few struggling humans salvation, a fresh start. It's an offer that none refuse. Crane is grateful. Among his hive's followers, Crane has found a chance to transition, to never speak again, to live a life that won't destroy him. He even met Levi, a handsome ex-Marine who treats him like a real man mostly. But when Levi gets Crane pregnant and the hive demands the child's birth no matter the cost, Crane's desperation to make it stop will drive the community that saved him into a devastating spiral that can only end in blood. So we've got like a combination of cults and aliens, and being compared to Alien, I feel like this is going to have some very, very gnarly body horror when it comes to especially pregnancy and all of that, everything that entails. So I think this is going to be a gruesome body horror alien ride, and I'm here for it. Next up, we have Coffin Moon by Keith Rosson, and this one, super fun cover. It's about vampires. So this is about a Vietnam veteran and his adopted niece who are hunted by and who also hunt the vampire that slaughtered their family. It's the winter of 1975 and Portland, Oregon is all sleet and neon. Dwayne Miner is back home after a tour in Vietnam, a bartender just trying to stay sober, save his marriage, and connect with his 13-year-old niece, Julia, now that he's responsible for raising her. Things aren't easy, but Miner is scraping by. However, when an encounter with a vampire turns super bloody, Dwayne and his niece Julia begin a furious, frenzied pursuit across the Pacific Northwest and beyond. From grimy alleyways to desolate highways to snow-lashed plains, Miner and Julia are cast into the dark orbit of undead children, silver bullet casters, and the bevy of broken men transfixed by Varley's ferocity. Everyone's out for blood. So I'm really intrigued. A good old-fashioned vampire hunting story. We've got historical horror elements and a road trip. I think this one's going to be a pretty interesting time. This also says that it's gritty, unforgettable, and emotionally devastating. Coffin Moon asks what will be left of our humanity when grief transmutes into violence and when monsters wear human faces. So I'm excited expecting. Along with the vampire slaying content, there will be a lot of commentary as well involving war and coming home from a war to a place that has changed, but also you've changed in the meantime. The next release date is September 16th, and the first book that comes out that day is Legend Has It by DJ Slater, and this says survival is not guaranteed. Soon-to-be college graduate Seth McCartney finds his love for his favorite October pastime, visiting haunted house attractions, fading. No matter what he does, he can't recreate the thrills he felt as a kid and a teenager. His best friend and fellow horror enthusiast Peyton Fisher has already moved on from this tradition and wants Seth to do the same, but not without one final hurrah. Over the years, rumors of an extreme haunted house have repeatedly surfaced, yet Seth has never been able to find it. However, this year, Seth and his friends follow a lead to the elusive haunt's doorstep. It's everything Seth could have imagined to rekindle his passion: a foreboding atmosphere, high-end set pieces, realistic effects. But there's a reason that this locale has a frightening reputation, especially when its hallways contain the depths of true terror. So this feels like a fun one to read in October. I love the idea. I've seen a couple movies like this, not so much books, where we have like a haunted attraction that's supposed to be fake and then it becomes all too real. So this sounds like it could be fun. Next up, coming out the 16th, we have No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. And this says that it reads like an edge of your seat, heart-pounding, scary movie. In one Halloween-obsessed Midwestern town, everyone's on red alert after a local politician goes missing. Little do they know it's only the beginning. It's been close to 20 years since forensic pathologist Dolores Hawthorne left her hometown of Little Horton, Wisconsin. The town is famous for its Halloween celebrations, but also its history of violent deaths linked to the holiday. To Dolores, it's the place she fled, family, bad memories, and all, until the FBI calls to tell her that her father, the former mayor turned U.S. senator, is missing under very mysterious circumstances. So she goes back to her hometown. With Halloween fast approaching, Dolores must face the past she left behind before it's too late. Now, this is one where the cover, like, it's visually appealing, but it's very interesting to me. This is marketed as adult horror, but the vibes, and this is not an insult because I loved these books as a kid, the book cover is giving warrior cats, and there's nothing in this synopsis about cats at all, so I think that's interesting. I don't know, it just gives like middle grade or cozy horror, so I don't know how much horror this book is going to be. The cover just has me thrown. It's not a bad cover, but I read the synopsis, it doesn't really fit. I wouldn't have paired them together necessarily, so I am intrigued by this one, but I'm not really sure what to expect. Next up, we have The Whistler by Nick Medina, also coming out September 16th, and this is about a young man who is haunted by a specter bent on stealing everything he loves. For fear of summoning evil spirits, native superstition says you should never ever whistle at night. Henry was on the verge of fame, gathering a following and traction with his eerie ghost hunting videos. Then his dreams came to a screeching halt. Now he's learning how to navigate a new life in a wheelchair, back on the reservation where he grew up, relying on his grandparents' care while he recovers. And he's also being haunted. Everyone thinks that this is just his traumatized mind playing tricks on him, but Henry knows better. As the specter haunting him creeps closer each and every night, Henry battles to find a way to endure and to rid himself of the horror stalking him. It all started when he whistled at night. I'm excited for this one. Ghost hunting, paranormal. We have a paranormal investigator that's trying to rid himself of an evil spirit that he conjured himself by not following traditions and superstitions of the people around him. So I'm really curious to see where this one goes. I've read from this author before and enjoyed his work, and I'm looking forward to reading more. And And then last but not least, this is the only, I think on this half of the list, the only non-horror release, but also coming out the 16th, we have Among the Burning Flowers, The Roots of Chaos, book .5 by Samantha Shannon. So this is technically the prequel to The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is one of my favorite, it feels weird to say standalones because it's technically a series, but all of the books do stand on their own, so you don't need to read all of them. There are multiple orders in which you can read all of them, and this one is going to be a prequel, and it's very notable because it is only going to be 288 pages. I believe it's also illustrated throughout, which is exciting, but if you know The Priory of the Orange Tree or A Day of Fallen Night, they're actually right back there. They are door stoppers. They are chunky books. So I'm excited for this prequel because I think it could be a really good way to integrate people into this world, to introduce them into this world in a little bit of a less intimidating way than an over 500-page book. So I'm pretty excited about this one. It's a story about human resilience in the face of dire circumstances. Among the Burning Flowers leads readers through the gripping and tragic circumstances that pave the way for the opening of the Priory of the Orange Tree. It has been centuries since the Draconic army took wing, almost extinguishing humankind. A better world seems impossibly distant to the people who hunt draconic beasts that have slept across the world for centuries. However, the great worm Firardel is now stirring, and the kingdom of Yisklin will be the first to fall unless someone stands up. Samantha Shannon is one of my absolute favorite authors, and this is yet another absolutely gorgeous cover for the Priory of the Orange Tree or the Roots of Chaos series. So there you have it. Those are some of the many September book releases that are coming out. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss part 2. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know what books you're looking forward to coming out this month down below. Stay safe, stay spooky, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!